Bombshell! We have exclusive news on a girl who was held captive for over 10 years and has now been rescued.
Jennifer Perry was held captive in a home in the middle of a neighborhood for nearly 10 years without anyone's knowledge.
Today, Jennifer escaped and called 911 with the help of a neighbor.
And now we have an exclusive interview with the perpetrator's daughter, Rebecca Davis. Hi, I'm Monica Staff. I'm here with Rebecca Davis, the perpetrator's daughter. Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
So could you tell me, growing up, how was your relationship with your father?
Growing up, my relationship with my father was very normal. I would say that I had a relationship with him like any daughter might. My father was my biggest fan, and he was my hero. He used to take me to different sporting events, such as my soccer games or cheerleading practices. He used to take me out to eat lunch or shopping. So growing up, I had a great relationship with my father.
And I understand that the actual victim was a friend of yours, Jennifer. How would you say, did you ever notice anything weird with your father and Jennifer?
Thinking back, there were a bunch of things that stand out. He was always kind of flirty towards her. And she was a good friend of mine, so she was always at my house. And she would always spend the night. But he always acted in ways towards her that I always thought was just kind of not right.
And tell me, have you ever noticed anything weird whenever you went to visit your father?
Yes. Looking back now, I remember a bunch of things that come to mind that were just really weird. Once I noticed that he put locks all around the house on different doors. And my sister and I actually were able to pick the basement lock one day, and when we did, we found things down there that shouldn't be in a basement, such as clothes and food and toys and even a fish tank with live fish in it. So we always thought that that was kind of weird, but we never crossed the line of asking him why it was down there.
And how would you describe your relationship now with your father now that everything has happened?
I don't have a relationship with him. I don't ever care to have a relationship with him. I don't want my grandkids to ever have a relationship with him. It's just non-existent.
All right. Well, again, my name is Monica Staff, and that was Rebecca Davis, the perpetrator's daughter. Thank you again, Rebecca, for speaking with us today. I really appreciate it.
I have an exclusive interview today with Robert Little, the neighbor.
Hi, this is Channel 3. I'm Ashley Blately, and I'm coming to you live with Mr. Robert Little. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
How did you know Jennifer was in the house?
Well, I was on my way to McDonald's, and when I was passing the house, I noticed someone in the living room help me. And at first I thought it was some kid who was playing. And then I noticed the door, help. And so then I got closer, and she gave me the look, and it was a little crack in the door. I tried to pull it open, and I noticed it was down from the inside. But we kept trying on it until we got it open. And she came out, and she came running to my arms, telling me, thank you. And she said, call 911. And she told me who she was, and said she had been held captive. And I called 911. That's basically what happened.
Do you ever feel any weird vibes from your neighbor?
Not really. I mean, it seemed like a normal guy to me. I mean, you know, we played chess together. Sometimes we cooked out, listened to music. He just seemed like a regular guy. We used to play cards, you know, fixing on his cars. But other than the day, he seemed like a pretty normal guy.
Well, do you feel in fear for living in your neighborhood now?
Not really. I mean, this, I think, was an isolated incident. And, you know, I guess it could have happened to anyone, but it was like, we didn't even notice that there was anything going on over there. I've never seen any children over there. I've never seen a lot of family members or visitation. So, other than that, I think I know really pretty good.
I have one more question for you, Mr. Little. How do you feel now that you're considered a hero?
Well, I wouldn't consider myself a hero. I think I'd be what any normal human being would have done under the circumstances. You know, she was in need of help and I was available, and so I did whatever I could to help her. I didn't recognize I decided to not having to make it to the house I was. So I'm glad I was able to help her. That's all.
Thank you again, Mr. Little, for joining me today. This is Channel 3, LEARN.
We have an exclusive interview
with the victim, Jennifer Perry, here on WLOOK.
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us today. I know this could be painful for you, but I really appreciate you taking the time to just give us an exclusive interview on exactly what took place. And I guess we can start by saying, how was it? How was the environment in being captive or held inside that house?
Well, I was held in the basement, and it was completely dark. And the only thing, I couldn't see anything, but the only thing I had on was a chain around my neck and my torso.
Did you ever have any type of visitation from anyone? I mean, other than the perpetrator himself?
No, he was the only person to come until he abducted another girl, and then he brought her in to see me. I don't know what he was doing, but he just kind of was showing off, I guess.
So in terms of the captivity, did you have any plans or thought you'd ever get out of that place or try to escape?
I tried to escape once. He had left the door unlocked, but the thing is, I didn't know he was just in the backyard. So when I got out of the chains and opened the door, I saw him running up, and I really quick ran back in the house and tried to put the chains back on so I wouldn't get in trouble.
So you think it was some type of trap he was setting for you by leaving the door open?
Yes, because he'd have all types of weird little things around the house where he'd be able to view us. Like he'd put mirrors up in the corners of the hallways, and he'd have little peepholes in the doors. So he'd be able to see and know exactly what we were doing.
Now, was it any type of, I hate to say this to you, but anyway, just to give the viewing public a better idea of what actually went on inside of that hellhole that you was being held in, did he punish you when you tried to escape, or he just basically tied you back up? Did he do anything exceptional when you tried to escape?
He did a lot of things. Like he had whips places that I could see him, and he'd always threaten me with them, or he'd have guns around, and he'd always be carrying a gun with him and be like, he'd never say it, but he'd always imply that if we did anything wrong, he'd kill us. And even, I remember one day, I was taken down to the basement, and he showed me a little spot where it said R.I.P., and then he scratched out someone's name, so it's possible that he could have really killed us.
Did it change very much when the second girl was abducted and added to you, to your environment? Did that make it any? I know it can't be considered good, but did it make it any less painful? Did he punish you any less, or was it about the same?
I think it got worse when the second girl was abducted, because anytime she did anything, he really liked her. So anytime she did anything, he'd come and take it out on me, saying that he didn't want her to cry, or he wanted her to be happy because he really liked her, but he didn't care about me, so he'd come and take it out on me.
So you think he was basically pitching you guys against each other?
I don't know. I always hated him. I felt bad for her because I knew what she was going through, but I don't know what he was trying to do with the two of us.
Did you ever come to the point where you thought maybe you'd never get out of that place?
Yeah, I mean, it always got to the point, but when he had us girls together, we'd support each other and we'd help each other through it. But it came a lot when I just felt like I wanted to die instead of having to deal with anything else he would put us through.
I can't imagine what it was like being in there, but I wonder now, how you feel about the situation now? I mean, what do you think about him? I know you say you hated him always, so how do you feel about him now, and how do you feel about yourself since you have been rescued?
I feel like a survivor now. I feel like I've been through worse than most could imagine, but I made it, and I still hate him, you know. I want him to burn in hell for the rest of his life, and not just for me, but for what he did to the other girls too, you know. He deserves what he did to us times 1,000, so I feel no pity for him going through the courts. I think that's stupid.
So you think the bond that you guys developed while he was in captivity will continue after you free?
Absolutely. I mean, I love those girls. They're like my sisters now. So they've taken care of me through more than my family has, really. So I can't imagine not helping them out, and they'd be the first person I'd go to if I had any troubles.
Well, I know it's been difficult for you, you know, answering these type of questions, but we really appreciate you taking the time out in your life, and I know you have a lot of living to do. And so thank you for coming on to WLOOK and sharing that information with us and for the world to know exactly what it was like being held captive inside of that hellhole for 10 years. And enjoy the rest of your life.
Thank you.
Thank you.